But the other thing that really pisses me off about it is that I feel ashamed. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Megan. This is Into Foreign Lands, videos about my life in Cambodia, about living abroad, and about having great adventures whether you're traveling or staying at home. This week, I want to talk about something a little bit controversial. I want to talk about sexual harassment. We're going to talk about sexual harassment that you experience when you're traveling, or just the harassment. Honestly, as a woman, it's not unique to travel. We experience sexual harassment every single day of our lives, no matter where we live. So before I get going, I just want to be clear about one thing. This video, the stories that I'm going to talk about in this video, the events that I'm going to describe to you, they are all based in Cambodia. They all happened on my recent bike ride around Cambodia. However, this problem that I'm going to talk about is not unique to Cambodia. Not at all. I personally have been harassed in every country I have ever lived in. So this problem is not unique to any specific area. This is something that women all over the world deal with every single day of our lives, and I'm sick of it. There were basically 3 big harassment sort of moments that stick out to me during the ride, and then the rest of it was just this like constant low level of me having to be on edge. So the first of the harassments that actually crossed a line and made me feel like I was in danger was pretty early on in the ride, only like a week or 2 into it, and I was riding down a main road, not a busy road, but a main road, and one of those men, doing his little creepy grin, drove up next to me on his motorbike, and instead of doing his creepy grin and then driving away when I went, he stuck to his guns. He kept doing his creepy grin and just drove next to me. I'm riding a bicycle. He's on a motorbike. Like, there's no reason for him to drive next to me, but he kept driving next to me. And so I hit the brakes so I would slow down, and it forced him to drive in front of me, which I would hope would trigger a reset in his brain, and he would realize, oh, this girl wants nothing to do with me. I should drive away. I'm making her uncomfortable, and I'm a decent human being. But he didn't do that. Instead, he pulled over and waited for me and looks back at me, all like, are you coming? Ugh. And so I didn't know what to do. There was no one really around. I was in the middle of the rice fields. It wasn't like in a town, so I just kept riding. I don't know, I might have said something to him, like no, or go away, or something, or said stop and come on. And he just kept following me. He just followed me for a couple kilometers, muttering and just being a creep. On the one hand, he's just following me. He's not committing violence against me. But there's that threat there. There's that threat. He's on a motorbike, I'm on a bicycle. And I'm giving you no signs whatsoever that I want you to keep following me. Why are you following me? Please stop. So eventually when I rode by a house where there were some people, I pulled over and he drove away, but he drove away so slowly, looking back the whole time. And that was the worst example of someone following me, but it happened a lot. It happened, and it's not just in the rural areas, it happens in the cities too. Men out there, if you see a woman you think is attractive, you don't need to creep. You don't need to just follow her and make her uncomfortable. I promise it's not going to do you any favors. She's not going to say, oh, thank you so much for creeping on me. Do you want to have dinner? It's never going to happen. So that was the first time that somebody made me feel vulnerable. But it can't let the haters get you down. You got to keep going, right? Later on in the ride, I'm in the north of Cambodia, which is the least developed area of Cambodia. And I found on Google Maps an alternate route to go to this temple in the north. I made the mistake of not checking the Google satellite imagery before trying to take this road. Google Maps in Cambodia, you can't trust it. You just can't. It has no idea what's going on. So I just went and thought, oh, I'll take this road. It's going to be so great. I'm so smart. I found the adventurous way. The road just vanished into a giant lake. 10 minutes later, I hear put, and a canoe comes around the corner. Some motorized canoe. All right, we all pile into the canoe. And we're piling into the canoe, and I ask the guy ferrying the canoe conductor, is that a thing? Canoe conductor? Can I get to town A? And he kind of looks at me like, crazy? Like, he tells me, no, you can't, the road's a mess. But come to my village, come to my village. We'll show you around the village and you can explore and then you can go back. And as a traveler, like that's the kind of experience you're looking for when you go into these areas, is to meet these really nice locals and they invite you into their village and you can kind of explore for a little bit and maybe have limited conversations in your Khmer. And I figured I'd turn around and go home. It just seemed like, this is too good to be true. What a perfect day this is turning out to be. I'm having such a wonderful time. And my rule when I'm abroad is to trust in the kindness of strangers, and these people seemed really kind. So I went with them and I went to their village. I talked to a few people in the village, and then I went out mountain biking, and there were all these like cattle paths out behind their village, and it was really fun, and I rode my bike around for an hour. I turn around, I go back to the ferry dock. There's nobody there. All right, so I sit on the ground and wait. A woman shows up, and then the ferry driver from earlier, the one who invited me to the village in the first place, he comes back. And he's like, oh, no, you need to stay in the village for 2 more hours to explore. And I figured he was joking, so I laughed. And he's like, no, I gotta go back. And so we all get in the ferry. He drives me across. We drive across the lake, park the ferry on the other side, a little canoe. And the woman, she walks away. Now, the minute the woman walks away, I go from feeling safe to feeling just a little bit on edge. Because in my experience, if you're in a group of foreigners and there's another woman there, the men behave themselves better when they're in front of their women. But when it's just you, that's when things can get a little bit messy. So the woman walks away, and then it's just these 2 men and me. Ferry driver starts like trying to come over and ask me for my phone number. Like, what? Are we going to have a conversation? Like, you don't speak English. I don't speak enough Khmer to talk on the phone. What is this? So he like writes his phone number in the sand for me. And to humor him, I took a picture of it on my phone. Meanwhile, other guy is just over there laughing. And when I'm leaning over to take the picture of this phone number with my phone, the man just reaches around my waist, grabs my butt, and starts kissing my face. Excuse me? And my reaction, much to my shame, was to giggle, and then push him away. And he took the giggle to mean oh, she wants it. And so he came back over and put his arm around me, and that time I had to face palm him. It blows my mind that any human being could think that that would be okay. You had ferried me across a river. That's it. That was the full extent of our communication in that day. You fit point A to point B. It's like if your taxi driver tried to make out with you. I mean, in no way had I given any indication that I wanted this person to touch me. I hadn't been approaching him. I hadn't been leaning into him. I had done absolutely nothing to show him that I was interested. And he, not once, but twice, grabbed my butt and tried to kiss my face. Even after I pushed him away the second time and face-palmed him, he was still laughing about it. Excuse me? Excuse me? I'm a person, not an object. You don't get to just touch me because you think I'm pretty. I don't give a I don't care if you think I'm pretty, okay? It doesn't matter to me. Not at all right? This is my body. I get to say who touches it and who doesn't, and you have to ask my permission first. And that wasn't even the worst one. Honestly, you might have thought it was. You might have thought, damn, that was really bad. I bet it doesn't get any worse than that. No, it doesn't. It gets worse. And the next one was only a couple days later, right? Only a couple days later. I'm riding again. I'm in northern Cambodia, underdeveloped. And I'm in a region of northern Cambodia that used to be controlled by the Khmer Rouge. If you don't know who the Khmer Rouge are, they were a communist movement, party, that took over Cambodia in the 1970s and proceeded to commit a genocide that killed a quarter of the Cambodian people. The leader of the Khmer Rouge was a man named Pol Pot. And in the 90s, when it was the end of his time, basically, he holed up in a little house in the mountains on the border with Thailand. Well, wouldn't you know it, I rode my bike out to those mountains, and I got a little map from my guest house that showed me where Pol Pot's house was. And I thought it would be interesting to go and see his house, the place where he died. So, on my mountain bike by myself, I went up there to go see it. It's not easy to get to. It's pretty far back there. And so I get almost there, and I can tell from the map and the roads that I'm in the vicinity of his house, but I can't quite find it. And a man comes around the corner on his motorbike, but he's not acting threatening at all. He's not like creeping on me. He's not being weird. He's just driving. And the road to get to Pol Pot's house was like a narrow single track through the grass and the jungle. I mean, it's we were alone. It was only the two of us. And he takes me to the house, and he's like, "This is the house." And then he just stands there. Again, not like being creepy, not being weird, no signs that anything was going to happen. And so I start looking around the house, taking pictures. He's trying to I think he was trying to tell me that there was a tunnel going out of the house, like an escape route maybe. I don't know. So I'm taking pictures. And he didn't speak English. My Khmer's pretty limited. At one point I looked at him and I went like, ooh, like it's spooky. And as soon as I did this, he just came over towards me with like literally this motion, like this, and starts grabbing my waist and grabbing me and like trying to kiss my face. And thankfully, I had learned my lesson from the guy before, the fairy guy. And instead of like giggling and then trying to push them away, I just full on just hand in his face pushed him away from me. And he immediately got really ashamed and got on his motorbike. And I wanted to cry. It was just the two of us in the middle of the jungle. I mean, why would you choose that moment to try to kiss a woman? You've never met her before. You don't know her at all. And you're gonna try to kiss her when you're both alone in the jungle and she has nowhere else to go? Not to mention, you're in the house of the man who committed a genocide against your country. Like, timing is everything, buddy, and you have none of it. Come on. So then this dude gets on his motorbike and he tries to motion for me to go first, like he's gonna follow me. Like, no. Get. So he drives away. It was fine. Again, it was fine. It was fine, but it wasn't fine. It wasn't fine because it's a lack of respect. It's a lack of respect for me as a person. It shows that you don't feel like I have any control over my own body because you thought I was attractive and you wanted to touch me, so you were going to, whether or not I wanted you to. I mean, it's not okay. The thing that bothered me the most about all of this, obviously I'm angry that it happened, right? I mean, look at this video. I'm obviously upset that these men think it's okay to touch me, to follow me, to do any of these things that violate me as a person. I'm upset that it happens. But the other thing that really pisses me off about it is that I feel ashamed. I hate that because I've been conditioned to think that way. I know I have. It happens and I immediately think, oh, I put myself in this situation. I should have been more careful. Why? Because I went for a bike ride? Is that why? Did I put myself in this situation because I went for a bike ride? Did I put myself in this situation because I tried to go sightseeing? I didn't, okay? I didn't put myself in this situation. My mere fact of existing as a woman is not something I need to be ashamed of. The fact that I went for a bike ride and you decided to touch me inappropriately is not something I need to be ashamed of. We need to turn this conversation around because I am tired of having things like this happen to me and having people tell me that I need to be more careful. No, I'm not the one who needs to be careful. It's the people who harass other people, the people who touch other people without their consent. Those are the people who should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of themselves for not being able to control themselves. They should be ashamed because they're hurting, they're committing violent acts against other people, and that's not okay. And they are the ones who should feel ashamed, not us. And just to be clear, this is not a gendered thing. It's not men harass people and women get harassed. That's not how it is. People of every gender can get harassed. People of every gender can commit harassment, okay? But it's our responsibility as humans to treat each other with respect, okay? And if someone has harassed you, you do not need to feel ashamed. Seriously, men of the world, women of the world, people of the world, you have to respect other human beings, okay? We, women, men, whoever get harassed, anyone who gets harassed, we didn't ask for it. We didn't do anything. It doesn't matter what we were wearing, where we were, what we were doing. None of that matters, okay? It's that people draw this parallel all the time. But if someone robs your house, it's not your fault for owning a house, okay? If someone touches your body inappropriately, it is not your fault for having that body. It is their fault for having no self-control. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a little thumbs up. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put out videos every Wednesday. I put out videos every week anyway. And I promise not all of them are going to be angry rants. Some of them will be funny. Some of them will be travel tips. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can see more content like this, more content from me, or just look at my pretty face. And try not to sexually harass anyone this week.